Hey, good morning. This is Venkatesh Iyer from Harman. I'm part of the Harman sales team, and we'll be talking about rapid analytics today. I'll let my colleague Prashant take you through that. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you, Venkatesh. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in. And I'm excited to be with you today for our session on rapid analytics. My name is Prashant Dash. I'm the Director of Engineering at Harman Digital Transformation Solutions. I'm going to talk to you today on how data and analytics have evolved in recent times, introduce you to rapid analytics and how it's enabling businesses to innovate at speed and deliver enhanced digital experiences to their customers. Now, allow me to start with a quick introduction about Harman Digital Transformation Solutions. Harman is a 100% wholly owned subsidiary of Samsung with over 30,000 professionals worldwide across 30 plus countries. We have three major business units, that's automotive, lifestyle audio. I'm sure you all are familiar with brands such as Harman Kardon, JBL, AKG, etc. And our third business unit is digital transformation solutions. We connect deep human and business insights with the possibilities of technology to enhance life's experiences, which can make lives healthier, safer, productive, and more rewarding. We are simplifying the way people interact with technology and connecting them to the world around them. So we don't just deliver a new piece of technology, but focus on what it can do for you. Our Lifeware solutions are across industries like healthcare, telecom, industrial, retail, hospitality, and they are transforming people's everyday lives. Here's a short video on Harman Lifeware for you.
Great technology can't just work on its own anymore. It has to be one cohesive whole. We believe technology is at its best when it all works together. We partner with visionary clients who are reimagining what technology can do. It is our job to bring those visionary ideas to life. We do that by blending the physical and digital and making them more human. By creating dynamic technology solutions that can serve ever-changing human needs, we know we'll be ready. At Harman, we don't just create new hardware and software. We create technology-led solutions that transforms the everyday experience. That's what we call Lifeware. We create and deliver Lifeware through our unique digital transformation capabilities, our people, our platforms, our domain expertise, our robust processes, and our delivery excellence. Harman Digital Transformation Solutions, delivering better customer-centric solutions to transform everyday life and experiences.
So what we are seeing today is that our customers are looking for actionable insights at speed. They want to focus on telling business stories to address business problems. They want to move away from siloed teams across data and analytics and just to arrive at solutions. Now, the data landscape is also seeing tremendous shifts. Customers are finding that the data volumes have grown exponentially. We're not talking about centralized data lakes to feed all decision-making processes. New data sources need to be coalesced with historical data to provide more meaningful insights. It's important to bring in those new data quickly and operationalize that so that it adds more meaning and relevant value to insights. We are also seeing data moving away from cloud to closer to their source of origin. Such data sets are diverse. They are of different granularity and frequency, and they're often better at tracking and generating insights. Digital transformation initiatives have brought in newer technologies and approaches towards decision making. What was once the purview of secluded teams is now a cross-functional effort, and customers want to provide the data and analytics to more and more users in their organization and as quickly as possible, well, all within a well-controlled, governed approach. The intent is Analytics has evolved considerably over years, and everyone needs to tell a story about how to explain a business problem. Now, what's some of the key components? I mean, what we have learned in working with customers, it's become more important than before to be agile. And this is the backbone of our rapid analytics suite. During the pandemic, let's take a domain, for example, just to let's say retail. We saw that traditional data sets became obsolete because of new trends in purchase behavior, spend patterns, basket size, stocking, just to name a few. Businesses wanted to understand this new phenomenon quickly so as to act accordingly to the market needs. Data became increasingly complex, and we started seeing an increase of volume from different access points. So we had our footfall patterns being changed, assortment preferences, order patterns. There are a lot of variations in the data. Now, getting access to and integrating these new data sets was very critical to understand the volume versus relevance. So that, and they have to be done in parallel, required enormous operationalization approaches to ensure the right data is selected for insights. Similarly, new technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning models had to be built quickly to correspond to these variations in data. And they had to go through multiple iterations to ensure the insights were accurate. They were easily consumable by everybody. So models also needed appropriate massive parallelization, iteration, and operationalization approaches to productionize the correct model, feeding off the correct and newer data sets quickly. So we had a lot of data. Now we had to pick up the right model, build a new model quickly. At the end, we had to set and deliver the insights to customers as soon as possible. So these were the key enablers to ensure customers have access to the right insights and could scale to meet the needs of the pandemic. We have been seeing our customers benefit in these challenging times. So we are happy to say that Harman's Rapid Analytics Suite had been addressing these challenges and helping customers get to their insights quicker than before. In the real world, data has become complex, as I mentioned, and they sit in different places. We need to take advantage of that and not force it to be brought to a centralized place as before. And data will continue to move across sources as we have seen. For instance, data requires to be moved from data lakes to custom-built stores and vice versa. We may need to run AI and machine learning at the source of data, or we may have to send data to custom stores where specific services can be built so that that data can be leveraged at that point of source. Just an example, streaming data is best sent to a separate streaming event to be consumed by an appropriate streaming AI model, and it need not find its way to a centralized data lake. So we are basically consuming the data wherever we see it. And we need rapid prototypes. Those days are gone where things could be predetermined to some extent and streamlined. So we now need to get to things very, very quickly. We need newer and more responsive systems. Business and user interactions need to be quick. Unlike traditional project engagement and management styles, users need insights at a source that's convenient to them. For instance, if somebody wants or is very familiar with looking at insights at their mobile or handheld devices, we should allow them to do that. So these trends that I am mentioning, they are not going to stay. Things are continuously dynamic, but we'll continue to see new trends emerging as we start to come out of the pandemic. Harman's Rapid Analytics Suite will continue to evolve to enable our customers to tell a story for their business problems in the quickest possible manner, instead of getting through the rigmaroles of navigating the data, analytics, and insights maze. Thank you for listening in. I appreciate your time. I'll now hand it over to my colleague Venkatesh Iyer to walk through some of our success stories in rapid analytics.
Thank you, Prashant, for that rapid introduction on the rapid analytics. It's the need of the hour, and that's what the industry is going through. I'll talk about a few success stories as we go forward. Data is the core of every business, and it's just not the ability to have data. It's the ability to infer from that data meaningful insights that can help you drive your business and drive business decisions. And as we talk further, the case in point here is of a customer who delivers to CPG and retail clients. They provide solutions on data insights. The business challenge, obviously, was very critical as pandemic hit. We know the situations around where there was stock out situations, where the ability to bring in products at the right time to the right place with the right quantity was key. Um, we were approached by this client. This was an existing customer of ours where we are doing descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics for them. But here was a need to go further deep into enhancing the prescriptive analytics and giving them the next stage of rapid analytics to be able to change things around and quickly and bring out inferences from what's happening in the market at their doorstep much faster than what it would normally take. Uh, the construct of our solutions are pretty much the same as what we would do for a normal analytics, but adding in additional variables that were never seen before, bringing in those specific aspects of the pandemic that brought in all the dynamics and data, bringing in sales information, what customers are buying, reading it through their receipts, what they're buying and what quantity and how, and what time and what price, bringing in information on what competitive products are being purchased at the same time, bringing in the macroeconomics of what is the disposable income in that region, what is the housing sales in that region. These were all standard practices. These were all standard dynamics and standard variables that we used to pick in. Now we are bringing in additional data which talks about what is the pandemic situation in that particular region, how many COVID cases are there in that region, how many people are affected, what is the overall situation, is there a lockdown, is there not a lockdown, how is that impacting the sale of the product, and how is that impacting the ability of a consumer to go and pick up a product from the store. These information then adds to the ability to drive a solution which talks about whether we should ship the product to the store, should we ship the product straight to the consumer, should we ship it to specific warehouses and stock it in that places. Now the information that our customers, the end customers, are looking at is how much quantity should they stock, what should be the inventory that they carry, what should be the shipping mechanism that they use. The supply chain came to a complete standstill during the pandemic, which caused concerns as to how do we get our product to the market, to the end consumer. How much lead time do they have to bring that product to the end consumer? These were insights that the solution brought out. And historical models and current pandemic models, we had to merge these together and run multiple thousands of iterations, thousands of models to come out with the right perfect solutions. These were all done in a very record-breaking time for insights to be provided, which helped our customers not just improve their profitability, but also bring in products to the end consumers at the right time. And that was the critical part in this time of pandemic, where it was not just making money, but it was making products available to end consumers at the right time. That was the case study or the success story on the rapid analytics from a leading CPG firm. I will drive next into a more interesting case study where we talk about this is not so much impacted by pandemic, but this is an industry which caters to construction domain. So here is a client which offers information, who sells insights, who sells news to the industry that caters to the construction domain. Their challenge, the amount of data that they get and the unstructured nature of the data, the variability in the data, the different formats in which they get the data. Here we're talking about approximately 30 to 50 million records, so 30 to 50 million documents that comes in various forms, JPEG, PDF, Word, images, and so on. To be able to get this information into a centralized repository, to read through this information and derive and infer information from that is the key. What we did, we built in a solution which not only brings in this information into our system, it first converts all these information, all these various documents into a standard form. We converted that into a PDF form. And then we ran OCR engines, and we could just not run one OCR engine. We had to run multiple OCR engines because one would read the images, one would read text, and we had NLP, we had various abbreviations that were used in this context, and different architects would put in different nomenclatures, different abbreviations. We had to read through that, define a format in which the data would be read and understood. This information is then tagged and the metadata extracted, stored separately with different HTML files. There were various outputs that had to go out from the system, not only to the internal consumption business, but also to external customers who would get insights on various projects that are running across the country, which talks about, if I'm a paint manufacturer, I need to know how much square feet or how much area of paint or how much quantity of paint is required for this project, and who is the contact person, and where do I go and sell it, and what is the number of doors that are required, number of windows that are required, how much concrete is going to be required to make this project, so on and so forth. There were a huge amount of information that needed to be sliced, diced, and presented in the right form to the right audience. There could be a plumber, there could be an electrician. There was a company that is manufacturing wires that needed this information to know how much wire should they manufacture and where should they go and sell to. Where is the project happening? Who is running that project? And what is the quality and quantity of wire that is required? What is the intended purpose of the project? And so on. This enabled not only our customer to supply this data, but also for the projects to get their supply right in time and the right quality and the right price with right competitor information. This was all done by running these projects together, and we used AWS Cloud here to have the rapid scalability and the ability to scale up and scale down. Files would come, projects would come. Every time a new project came in, we upped the AWS infrastructure to ensure that we are able to run those processings. Once the processing is done, we can bring it down and thereby save money. This entire 30 million records used to be manually read through and inferred. There was only a certain amount of information that was being collected. With this project, we were able to not only automate that entire process to reduce human interference and to reduce any errors that are being interjected in that, but also tagged and we were able to monetize the new set of information, the new set of metadata that could be derived and inferred from these files. The number of architects, number of designers, number of projects, plumbers, and so on and so forth, the sizes, the typical volumes that are being consumed, and this inference, and this goes out to the entire industry, which talks about what are the number of projects going on, how is the construction industry doing, and so on. That was the outcome that our customer was able to deliver at the end of it. With this, I come back to a success story on rapid analytics. Now, this is a different market. This is a market for healthcare, life science. This is a customer. We again a long-standing customer. We've been working with them for almost a decade, uh, where where we are deriving or we are helping them with descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Now, the time with COVID-19 as it hit, the need of the hour was to find out how and what has been the impact of COVID-19 on specific drugs, specific brands. How are they performing? Is their performance because of pandemic? Is their performance normal? Is it in the natural trend? If not, what has changed? Whether it is increased, decreased, and what is it being used for? So, as we know, the pandemic caused various symptoms. These symptoms are not necessarily only for COVID-19. These symptoms were existing in various other forms. Shortness of breath has been a symptom for various complications. Now, COVID 19 also had caused shortness of breath. That does not mean every shortness of breath is COVID. How do you differentiate this? How do you break this out and say these many were because of COVID and these many were standard? There were historic evidence of data, of trends during seasonalities. Different seasonalities brought in different kind of allergies, different kind of complications which people had in different regions, dynamics, demographics, and various of those parameters that brought together the complexity of the data. A heat wave, a snowfall, rain, all these added to the complexities. Now, to be able to infer and to derive information out of that was critical. How do we differentiate? Again, the information coming in here are from pharmacists, right? How is your drug performing? How is your drug being consumed? Where is it being consumed? What are the prescriptions that are going out? How many prescriptions went out in the last 1 week for this specific drug across the globe and specific regions? Then map it with the COVID patterns that of data that were available to see whether this had any direct impact of COVID, or was it not natural or normal from a past historical standpoint. And that information was then fed back to the pharma companies which manufactured those drugs to be able to make right decisions, saying, okay, my drug is performing or helping folks, is being prescribed for COVID related patients as well, or it is helping in this form. We need to enhance this. We need to add additional supply of these were life changing and decisions that were made by many of these pharma companies, and we enabled that. We enabled them to be able to bring in and take their products, their drugs out to the market at the right time, the right place. And all these with the ability, with the confidence that the information that they're getting is almost accurate and absolutely correct, that it is not a wrong information that would lead them to send out medicines and drugs at a wrong place. Um, Again, using big data, using Hadoop, using AWS infrastructure, we were able to scale up. We were able to bring in absolute scalable infrastructure, an infrastructure that could bring in and use a huge amount of data, map them, bring out those models, and run those models and give the output inference to the end customer. We again the value delivered, approximately 80% of increased visibility on demand patterns, which was, given the pandemic, this information at this level was significantly high, useful for our end customers. And with that, I'll hand it back over to that was the end of the case success stories. I'll hand it back to Prashant to conclude and open the session for any questions that you may have. Over to you, Prashant.
All right. Thank you, Venkatesh. So to summarize, I mean, for rapid analytics, we have seen that data is now spread across multiple locations and they keep changing. Our rapid analytics suite helps you to get those changing data sources flagged automatically, and the ingestion of the relevant changes happen into the ecosystem, and the process also picks out the correct analytic models to be used. And all this is made possible by leveraging new technologies and increased automation and operationalization of our processes. So this enables, greater democratization of data and analytics. Thereby, it all leads to quicker insights and allows users to focus on, telling a story for their business problems. We have been seeing a lot of value, as you can see in this slide, because of rapid analytics. And I would like to leave you with a short video on our rapid analytics suite for you to watch.
When it comes to analytics, time can make all the difference. But how can businesses harness data for insights when there are still many hurdles to cross? The problem lies at the core. Analysts spend more time asking how to get data than focusing on why problems occur. We can tackle this. The Rapid Analytics Process Suite from Harman helps users find the logical end to the story told by their data.
So would like to, now open the forum for any questions that you may have. Thank you so much for your time and for listening in. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, great session, gentlemen. We've had a few questions come in. Prashant, if I could orient the first one at you. How does rapid analytics discover changes in data?
So when data comes in, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning to actually find out whether the data has come in as per expectations or is a new data set. So the focus is on data-driven discoveries instead of the schema telling us that the file doesn't fit into the schema. So because of that, our data ingestion layer has a sub-engine which actually allows us to find out that there has been changes in data, and that calls for not the regular approach, but a different approach to ingest those data sets.
Cool. Venki, anything to add?
No, I think this is good. He summarized it so well that I could not add anything to that.
Fair enough. Okay, the next one, back to you, Prashant. What are some challenges in operationalizing data and models?
Okay, the first challenge that I can think of is how to have multiple pipelines to ingest the data. I mean, one pipeline, maybe we need a second pipeline which may be feeding some other model based on the data, whether it is qualified or non-qualified. So the challenges are having multiple paths to be sprung up in parallel on demand based on the complexity of data, so that we can actually get to identifying the data to be ingested and later on the proper model to be picked up, which will sit on that particular data set. So heavy operationalization calls for multiple parallel pipelines to be set up. And that is something that we have seen in our implementations so far.
Venki?
Yeah, as Prashant said, with variability of data, it's not just the different streams, but it's also different forms of data that we have to read through. There is, and specifically with the pandemic nature of the market, where you're getting information from the historical set of data, and then you are getting variabilities that are coming in because of the pandemic that is being introduced. Like, for example, the latest one could be the Omicron, and how that is impacting some of the types of data that what you're reading through, whether suddenly there is a different kind of drug that is picking up in the market. Now, it could be because of a specific variability that comes in. Now, how do you differentiate that, and how do you get that data and introduce that into your model? And that's the biggest challenge.
Okay, thank you. All right, we only have time for one final question. So what are the plans around rapid analytics, and how will that evolve going forward? Prashant?
Okay, let me take a stab at it. So for rapid analytics, our immediate objective is to make it more rapid. and then make it most rapid. So heavy investment in automation, in artificial intelligence algorithms, machine learning, giving them different flavors, whether it has to be predictive or prescriptive or diagnostic or things like that. So we are looking at, data comes in, and the values that we saw in the earlier presentation, we want to really achieve higher numbers. For instance, we want to deploy models faster. We want to make sure our design efforts are reduced to a lot extent. So continuous improvement, continuous improvisation is what we are looking for. And though that are the immediate next steps on how I am seeing rapid analytics to evolve.
Okay.
Absolutely. And speed is the key. How fast you can analyze the data, how fast you can get the result out. That makes the complete difference.
And I can only imagine that all of that's going to require further advances in IoT and in mobile edge computing, all sorts of things that bring the data and decisions a lot closer to the point where the action's happening. Gentlemen,
Absolutely.
really a great discussion. Thank you so much. All right, and we look forward to having you back another time.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.